Okay, welcome to the Desserts with David. I'm going to get this started and then I'm going to explain what we're going to be doing today because this takes a few minutes here. I have 1 cup of whole milk that I've warmed up. I'm going to pour that in our mixer here. Actually, you know what? Bring it out so I can get it all in there. Then we're going to place in that 1 package of dry active yeast, and we are going to add our dough hook to the mixer. We're going to let that sit for about 5 minutes so it gets frothy. Let me stir it up a little bit, get it in there. Okay, let that sit. While that's sitting, let me explain to you what we're going to be making today. This time of year we have all kinds of holidays. And today I thought we would honor a holiday that's starting December 10th. I don't know much about the holiday, so I did some research to try to find a dessert to make. Hanukkah starts on December 10th this year. So today we're going to make a dessert called a chocolate Babka. It's technically not a traditional Hanukkah dessert per se, but a lot of families make it all the time for Hanukkah, so that's what we're going to make today. To start off with, like I said, I put a cup of whole warmed milk and a package of active dry yeast in here and let that sit for about 5 minutes. I have 4 cups of flour. To that I'm going to add 1/3 cup plus 2 tablespoons full of sugar. And then I have 2 teaspoons of fine sea salt. I'm going to get that all in there. So we're just going to whisk this together. Check on her. It's starting to bubble up in there, so that's good. We do have a lot of cookbooks at the library for Jewish cooking and stuff, but I found this recipe online. I went online to look for some desserts that they make normally during Hanukkah, and this one came up and it looked interesting, so I thought we would try this one. So we have this. And also for the rest of our things, we'll need 1 whole large egg and 1 egg yolk. And then 1 stick plus 2 tablespoons of butter cut into tablespoon sizes and at room temperature. So we'll need that. So let me see how this is going here. Okay, so it looks like it's starting to bubble up. We got a few more minutes there. We'll take a break and we'll come back in a few minutes to give this a chance to bubble up, and we'll see you back in a minute. Okay, welcome back. I think we're ready. This is my first time working with the yeast, so now that we have that been sitting there for about 5 minutes, 6 minutes, we're going to add our egg. It's 1 large egg and 1 large egg yolk. Just going to add that in there. And then we need to put our flour mixture. Do it this way here. Just put it on, sprinkle on top there. Hopefully this turns out. Again, I've never used yeast other than in a bread machine, so. All right. Now we're going to do this on low. About 2 minutes here until we mix it up. All right, that's going. Once we get that done, what we're going to do is we're going to add our butter. We're going to scrape down the sides once we get it all mixed in here. Actually, scrape down the sides a little bit, get that flour in there. Now that we have it kind of mixed in, we can speed it up a little bit. So now that we got it mixed in, we're going to go to medium. Oops. Scrape down the side a little bit. We're going to mix that for about 5 minutes. So we'll see you back in a few minutes. Okay, we got it down to low. We're going to add our butter. And we're just going to mix it on low until the butter is fully incorporated. And while that's mixing in, I'm going to do that for take about 3 minutes. And what we're going to do then, we're going to cover it with plastic wrap, and we will let it sit for an hour, and then we'll do the next step. So, while that's mixing, we'll see you in about an hour. Okay, welcome back. Our dough has been sitting covered at room temperature for an hour. So now what we're going to do is we need to put some parchment paper on a cookie sheet here. And we're going to spray it with cooking spray. Then we just take our dough, get it all out of here. And we got to divide this in half. I probably should have floured that. And we are going to shape each half into a little square here. We're going to cover it with plastic wrap, and then we are going to refrigerate it overnight. I don't think I did. And then we will come back tomorrow and we'll finish. So. All right, so I'm going to cover it with plastic wrap. We'll throw it in the refrigerator overnight, and then we'll come back and we'll finish the babka. Okay, welcome back. We're going to finish working on our chocolate babkas. Our dough has been sitting overnight in the refrigerator, so we got that going. We're going to prepare our pans. So what we did, I already have one done here, but just spray the pan with cooking spray. Then you want parchment paper hanging over the side so you can let out. So what I did, I'll finish it here, is I've been cutting off the corners. So we'll just cut off the corner. And then just kind of fold it over a little bit so it fits in there nicely. And then just stick it in the pan. Set these aside. Now I already melted my chocolate for I'm going to make the filling next. What I have here is 9 ounces of milk chocolate, 3 ounces of dark chocolate, and then 1.5 sticks of butter that I cubed and I put it in a double boiler to melt. So it's going to sit here till it goes to room temperature. So we'll set that there for right now. And then I need 1.5 cups of chocolate wafer cookie crumbs. So I got my processor out here. We're going to put the cookies in there. Go first, see how many we need here. I want a nice fine crumb here. All right, let's see how much we got. We'll do some more. We missed a piece. We'll eat that. Make sure the cookies are good. Let me scrape them into my measuring cups here. Oops. Looks like we have just enough. All right, well, good. So we'll put that back. Set this aside. So now what we need to do is we have our chocolate. Going to add the 1.5 cups of the cookie crumbs. And then we have 3 tablespoons of honey. We're going to add. Then we're just going to mix this all up. This will be our filling for our babka, chocolate babka. Okay, there we go. Got a couple of chunks of chocolate in there. There we go. I'll set this aside to let it continue cooling a little bit. Put my cookies over here. Wipe off the counter. Now we're going to roll out our dough. So let me get my stuff here. We want to roll the dough out into 16-inch squares. I'm going to dust it with a little flour. We'll see how this goes. I'm going to work with one square at a time here. Our dough. I'll just put a little on top there. All right. So we want to just get it to about 16 inches. We're at about 14 right now. Got quite square here. All right. Okay. Not quite square, but close enough. So I'm going to move this one. I know, you know what? I'll put the sauce on first. You just want to spread this out on there. You want to leave it about 1 inch from the edges when you spread it out. But need more. Yep, I need a little bit more. And we're going to roll it, starting with the long end next to us. Turn it like into a jelly roll. Roll it nice and tight. I don't know if I'm getting it tight enough, but then I want to cut it in half. Set that half here. This half. And we'll leave it like that. What I'm going to do is spread some chocolate on the top and sides of it. And then what we want to do, take the other half, kind of lay it crosswise on it. We're going to twist them around. There we go. Then you take them and you set it inside the pan. What we're going to do is cover this pan and let it sit in a warm spot for about 2 hours so it almost doubles in size. And then we will go after that. So I'm going to cover this one up. I'm going to wipe this off a little bit. And then we're going to go on to the next one. And we'll see you back. We'll see the next step. Okay, welcome back. We let them sit for 2 hours till they rose a little bit. Then we put them in a 375-degree oven for up to 45 minutes or until they're fluffy and brown, so they're ready. So we're going to take them out. Oops, not put it there. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, we're going to let them cool for a few seconds. Next, we're going to make a glaze for the top of the, I scared the dogs too. We're going to make a glaze for the top of the thing. So we got a double boiler here. We're going to turn it on. What we're going to melt is we have 12 ounces of bittersweet chocolate. If you're not using chips, you got to chop it up. 4 ounces of milk chocolate. And 1.5 sticks of margarine cubed. So we're just going to turn that on. We're going to melt that in there. All right, we'll let that melt. And then when that's all melted, we're going to stir in 2 tablespoons of light corn syrup and we'll pour on top. So let me take these out. We'll take the paper off in a second here. Let me get these pans out of the way because they're hot. So I'll let it cool off, take out the paper. So we'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to let this cool off a little bit. We'll get that melted, and then when that's melted, we pour it over the warm bread. We'll let it set, and then we'll cut it and see how they turned out. All right, we got our chocolate and butter all melted here. I'm going to bring it over here. That steam was hot. We're going to add our 2 tablespoons of light corn syrup. Now I'm just going to whisk that in there. Get it all mixed up good. We have our loaves that are still warm. Going to pour our chocolate on top. Put it on a cookie sheet, and I have some parchment paper under there to catch the chocolate. Put it on this so it drizzles down the side. We're going to let this sit for about 30 minutes till it sets, and then we'll come back and we'll see what we got. Okay, our chocolate's set, so we're going to I cut off the end piece. Let's see what we got going on here. There we go. That's what it looks like on the inside there. So let's try it. I got chocolate all over me, which is not a bad thing. Very good. Okay, again, this was chocolate babka. We made it for as a Hanukkah dessert. So thank you for joining us. Happy Hanukkah to everyone who celebrates, and we'll see you next time.